So this is the reason why we will not see Jeffrey Epstein list. This is the reason why we will not see any more information about Jeffrey Epstein, the Jeffrey Epstein list, the Jeffrey Epstein client list. We won't see anything about anything, nor do we want to see any other cheese pizza. No one wants to see any of that, but we will not see justice. And this is why. I don't think we're going to see justice.
I want to ask you one question about Epstein that everybody wants to know. Do you ever think that we will get the files really released, unredacted, the real files, everything that supposedly exists on Epstein?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. You know why? Here's the thing.
I assume.
Here's the thing. If you were at...
So the movie that I was thinking of before is called The Sound of Freedom. And this man is the man who the lead character of The Sound of Freedom was based off of. Okay? This is a great man.
Everybody wants to know. Do you ever think that we will get the files really released, unredacted, the real files, everything that supposedly exists on Epstein?
He's not the man. I don't think he's the man who Sound of Freedom is based off of, but I think he had something to do with it. He had something to do with the Sound of Freedom. Absolutely.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. You know why? Here's the thing.
I assume.
Here's the thing. If you were an entity, I won't say if it's a 3-letter entity or if it's a ancient family entity, whatever. If you're an entity that wanted full control, you wanted to control the votes of a senator, of a congressman, of a judge, or you wanted to control the money of a billionaire, or you wanted to control some royalty. If you wanted that level of control, you get them on film with the 12-year-old. You control them forever. You really do. And that's really what it's about. It's about blackmail. And the CIA's book of dirty tricks has blackmail written all over it. That's really what the whole program was about from the beginning. And if we think that even our 3-letter agencies are the ones that are in control, we have another thing coming. There are families, there are institutions that are incredibly powerful that have to implement a certain level of control when you get to a place of power. And that is one method that is used. It's something that's used within Hollywood. We see it all over the place with guys who are wanting to be big stars and whatnot. If they can get you at a party, they can get you on film.
He's talking about the casting couch. People of power and influence dangle money, dangle, promise in front of your face. Someone who's hungry, a hungry actor, a hungry artist. They will dangle promise in your face. If you're hungry enough, are you going to take this that I'm dangling? Are you going to take this dangling carrot? It is the contract of Mephisto. Okay? It's the contract of Mephisto. The contract of the devil is what he's speaking of.
And if we think that even our 3-letter agencies are the ones that are in control, we have another thing coming. There are families, there are institutions that are incredibly powerful that have to implement a certain level of control when you get to a place of power. And that is one method that is used. It's something that's used within Hollywood. We see it all over the place with guys who are wanting to be big stars and whatnot. If they can get you at a party, they can get you on film, they can put some level of blackmail on you. Now they can pour the money and the fame and everything else and have you rise to the tops of the tops. And, people say you sold your soul to the devil. So that's true in many cases. It's exactly what happens is you see it in gangs where you have to prove your loyalty and you have to do something that now they have that control. It's so that when they raise you up the ranks, they have that blackmail on you. And that's what this whole story is about from the beginning.
But Paul, how could these people in power and authority be so ignorant as not to believe that maybe Epstein had a plot here, or he was filming them, or he was blackmailing them? How could they be so naive?
It was not naive. A lot of them trade their lust for power and money in exchange for us. Right? You can have that stuff on me because I know that you're going to give me what I want.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I mean, to me, that's a real sign of weakness. I mean, you can't get that on your own. You have to rely on somebody else to provide that for you and take a risk like that.
Well, for what he just said, it seems like the mind state of a slave. It sounds like the mind state of a slave is what he's going to, the complete I guess the complete bending over, like the what do you call it? The submissive? Yeah, the complete submissiveness of a being to another being, and the submissiveness in a way where, like, yeah, someone has something over you. They have something over you, so you just bow. That is that person in, like, spiritually is your dom, right? You in a way, you're God because you're bowing down to them. You're submitting to them, and you submit to Jesus Christ, Yahweh. You submit to only Yahweh, and you can't see him. So that means you don't bow down to nobody. You don't bend over to nobody. Bend over is not even a part of the deal. You don't do that. But you bow to no one. You bow to no one, but you bow when you pray to Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Yahusha, HaMashiach. It's a dominance thing, and it's his power.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing too. There was a lot of guys at the Diddy parties that they knew they were being filmed. They knew it. From going into the parties, they knew they were being filmed.
So they had that much confidence in Diddy that he would never do something like that?
It's a trade-off. Knowing that kind of power, that kind of money, etc., can get me what I want. It happens a lot.
And for 20 years, a guy like Diddy and Epstein can do all of this disgusting stuff, as far as I'm concerned, with minors and get away with it. Nobody investigating them, nobody looking at it. Is that because people in power keep everybody else away? Is that the bottom line?
Well, here's the sad thing, Michael, is this is more pervasive than people, this meaning doing things with minors, right, is more pervasive than any of us want to believe. You in a healthy, affluent neighborhood in the U.S., you walk out in your front porch and you look left and you look right. There's a very high chance that one of those homes on your block is a dangerous place for children.
Really?
And it needs a barrage of bullets. It needs Deadpool bullet barrage.
There's of all the women who are listening to us today, over 40% of them have admitted that they are a victim at some time in their life of sexual abuse. 1/4 of them, it was as a child. So 25% of all the women and that's just the ones that talk about it. Now, with men, it's a little bit less. It's 1 in every 5 at some time in our life. But even then, 1/4 of them, it was under the age of 10 years old in their own homes. This is pervasive. And there are so many people involved that there's too many judges, there's too many prosecutors that have dirt on them as well, that they don't want to be pushed into a position where that can be brought to light. And so, yes.
Whoa. Oh, God. Oh, no. Did I didn't hear that When I, oh my gosh, that just gave me an instant headache. Hang on, all my days. That's too far.
So many people involved that there's too many judges, there's too many prosecutors that have dirt on them as well, that they don't want to be pushed into a position where that can be brought to light. And so,
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Are you serious, bro? Are you serious? Are you effing serious? So you're telling me we have this horrible, horrible demonic problem. And guess what? The fucking judges have that problem too. Because they're a part of it. They have dirt on them too. So you're telling me that you can't, like, oh my days, the people who are sentencing criminals who sexually abuse children, you're telling me that the judges who are supposed to sentence criminals who are sexually abusing children, a lot of those judges themselves have sexually abused children, so it makes it harder for them to prosecute? My fucking gosh.
as a child. So 25% of all the women you know, and that's just the ones that talk about it. Now, with men, it's a little bit less. It's 1 in every 5 at some time in our life. But even then, 1/4 of them, it was under the age of 10 years old in their own homes. This is pervasive. And there are so many people involved that there's too many judges, there's too many prosecutors that have dirt on them as well, that they don't want to be pushed into a position where that can be brought to light. And so, yes, it's happening everywhere. And we as good Americans need to stand up and say, no, I'm sick of this crap. And here's the thing. I was a big fan of Will Smith for a long, long time. I'd watch all of his movies until I realized what his wife walked in on him doing in the bedroom, till I realized how many of the P. Diddy parties he was at and what was going on in those parties. And then I had to choose to support him or not support him by choosing to put my money into movies that he was a part of or not. And so it's sad today because me and my wife will be looking, okay, we want to watch a movie tonight. She'll go through and she'll say, nope, pedo, nope, pedo, nope, pedo. Okay, we'll watch a movie with that guy. Right?
Oh my gosh. This dude is on the investor's lane. Like he is not like me and you who just, oh my fucking gosh. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. This is great. This is fucking great. Oh my gosh. This man is an investor. He's an investor. So he invests in movie stars. And he knows personally if these movie stars are pedophiles or not. So him and his wife click out who to invest to and who not to, because if one is a pedophile or not. And out of one hand, so probably one of 5 of these celebrities. How about this? Let's give them 2 of 5. 2 out of the 5 are not pedophiles, are not criminals. So people with morality who are investors, like, oh, hey, Will Smith, oh yeah, he has the Wild Wild West coming out. That looks pretty cool, but hey, sorry, he porks little children. Psych, out of the way. Oh, Brad Pitt. Oh, maybe he's fine. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio. I know that he has something with 25-year-olds. Let's just put him on the side. It's legal, but I don't really like his tune. What are we? Oh my fucking shit. Dude, when you find out It's not alone when you meet your hero, it's when you find out the world is darker than you actually think it is.
It's sad today because me and my wife will be looking, okay, we want to watch a movie tonight. And she'll go through and she'll say, nope, pedo, nope, pedo, nope, pedo. Okay, we'll watch a movie with that guy, right?
Really?
Because there's so many people that are involved that we have to take a step back and say, listen, I'm going to vote with my wallet of what I'm going to support and what I'm not going to support. And that includes politicians, that includes big media, that includes Hollywood, all the way across the board. It's not just the cartel. Yeah. The biggest dangers in our society, the real bad guys are the ones that wear 3-piece suits and have a title. Those are the guys because the biggest dangers in our society, the real bad guys are the ones that wear 3-piece suits and have a title. Those are the guys because they're doing things with impunity. And they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You see this in some of these ultra elite rings.
I don't know if you guys got the point, but I don't know if you got it.
The biggest dangers in our society, the real bad guys are the ones that wear 3-piece suits and have a title. Those are the guys because they're doing things with impunity. And they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You see this in some of these ultra elite rings with a level of absolute power that makes them think that they're beyond retribution.
What is it with people in power wanting to deal in child trafficking? And I mean, I never.
Well, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Okay.
Retribution.
What is it with people in power wanting to deal in child trafficking? And I mean, I never really even thought of this, but why? I have a question for all my friends.
Wow, it goes to no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Well, so let's answer this question.
In child trafficking and
retribution.
What is it with people in power wanting to deal in child trafficking? And I mean, I never really even thought of this, but
you see this in some of these ultra elite rings with a level of absolute power that makes them with impunity. And they say that power biggest dangers in our society, the real bad guys are the ones that wear 3-piece suits and have a title. Those are the guys because they're doing. It's not just the cartel. The biggest dangers in our society, the real bad guys are the ones that wear 3-piece suits and have a title. Those are the guys because they're doing things with impunity. And they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You see this in some of these ultra elite rings with a level of absolute power that makes them think that they're beyond retribution.
What is it with people in power wanting to deal in child trafficking? And I mean, I never really even thought of this, but why?
So that is the question, and I'm going to give my personal answer. So that is the question. Why do rich and powerful people decide to go into child sex trafficking? I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to say it differently. I'm going to start off with this. Biblically, what did Satan say to Jesus? This is all mine, and I can give it to you if you bow down to me. And Jesus told Satan, hey, fuck you. Now that's layman's terms. But Jesus said, hey, Satan, go fuck yourself. Okay? But it wasn't saying that Satan wasn't telling the truth. Satan fell to earth. Satan took role as CEO. Okay? When the people of earth all turned to Jesus Christ, saying Jesus Christ is Lord and God and Savior, Satan fell to earth. All right? He fell to earth and he took role as CEO. It wasn't his, but it is his. He fell to earth. I mean, like, well, what's like 9% of the rule? You finders keepers, right? He fell to earth. Satan is CEO of earth. That's why this place is bullshit. Okay? That's why this place is bullshit. That's why this place is half hell, half heaven. The only reason why earth has heaven on earth is because of the people. If the people wasn't bringing heaven to earth, this place would be hell. Point blank period. So Satan fell to earth. Satan is the CEO of earth. And he said to Jesus Christ himself, hey, this is all mine. I could give it to you if you bow down to me. Jesus said, fuck you. I have one God. And it ain't you, bitch. Now, with that being said, with that fact, with that biblical fact, I state the question, how would a country get its independence without going through Satan himself? If Jesus himself had to go through Satan, and Satan said, this is all mine, I could give it to you if you bow down to me. Jesus was the one to say, fuck you. How would a country get its independence without going through Satan? And in my own personal understanding, traveling to other countries, there's a demonic presence in of the smallest of islands. On the billboards, when you drive down these small island streets, you see a demon, an actual demon in some of these islands. Just on the billboard, oh yeah, this is this island's national creature. Whatever the fuck. My father's home country, Grenada. What's on the billboards? A all-black, horned humanoid figure with red eyes. Say it again. A all-black humanoid figure with red eyes with bull horns. Sorry, I forgot that point. A bull-horned, all jet black figure with red eyes. That is the national creature on billboards as you drive through the city. Tell me that's not a country getting its independence through Satan. George Washington was a part of the Freemasons, and the Freemasons are known to be Satanists who don't tell their members they're Satanists until they get to a level. Why? Because Satan is the CEO of earth. And yet, if you want to get independence, you got to go through him. And if you say, fuck you, you die. You're gone. That's my thoughts. But yeah. Nah, this shit crazy. So let's get back to it. Let's go to the statement. Let's go to the question one more time. Let's get past it.
Absolutely. You see this in some of these ultra elite have a title. Those are the guys because they're doing things with impunity. And they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You see this in some of these ultra elite rings with a level of absolute power that makes them think that they're beyond retribution.
What is it with people in power wanting to deal in child trafficking? And I mean, I never really even thought of this, but
there's something to be said for unbridled greed, arrogance, and lust. And when you've already done it all, when you've already effed all these prostitutes, when you've already had the money and you've got all these things, then what's next? What's next?
I know, but Paul, you're a very successful guy, but this doesn't come. You're doing just the opposite.
Exactly.
You're trying to help these people.
Well, and what happens is 1 out of every 3 men who have been abused as children, if not given the help, the love, the healing that they need, become contact offenders. Now, the majority of us turn out to be.
So what I feel he's trying to say is that is a sickness. There's a sickness that happens.
This doesn't come. You're doing just the opposite.
Exactly.
You're trying to help these people.
Well, and what happens is.
So the sickness that he's talking about, okay, the sickness that he's talking about is very important, and I want you guys to understand this because I want you guys to avoid this. I am no different. I am no better than you. I am not better than you. I am not a perfect person. I am a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit in the light of God, just trying not to be a piece of shit, okay? I am no better than you. I am a human. Just like you, we are the same. So this is no judgmental shit. I just want you guys to understand the things that I know, because I want you guys to avoid it to the best of your ability, because I want you guys to get to heaven with me. That is my goal. I don't want anybody watching this to go to hell. I want you guys to understand things that I understand for your best ability to avoid this bullshit. What he's trying to say is that there is a sickness. There's a sexual immorality sickness. Okay? Check what I said. Sexual immorality is the proper and nice way to say it. What I'm saying is there's a freaky epidemic. People being freaky. People being too gosh damn freaky. Freaky is sexual immorality. Okay? There's a freak epidemic. People getting freaky, dousing up in baby oil, doing homosexual sex and shit, and taking man's fluids out of women's body parts and rubbing them on the nipples if your name is P. Diddy. Okay? What I'm telling you I'm telling you the truth. There is a epidemic of sexual immorality that is sexually immoral. It's immoral to take the man cum out of a woman's vaginal region, take it out like after it's been secreted into the it is sexually absolutely it is absolutely sexually immoral to take the man's exclusion out of the canal of a woman after it's been excluded, to take it out and then to rub it on your nipples. That's absolutely sexually immoral. That's witchcraft. Okay. That's the shit that's happening now. Do you not see that there is an atom bomb soon? All right. That is absolutely horrendous. And this is what I'm speaking of the P. Diddy case. This is the sexual immorality that's happening now. Okay, should we stop the sexual pervasion of the same sex, okay, we're done. We're done here. Sexual immorality is running rampant, and child sex trafficking is sexual immorality almost at its highest peak. So this is what we're speaking on. This is lunacy. All right. This is the Tower of Babel.
Successful guy, but this doesn't come. You're doing
close.
Just the opposite.
Exactly.
You're trying to help these people.
Well, and what happens is 1 out of every 3 men who have been abused as children, if not given the help, the love, the healing that they need, become contact offenders. Now, the majority of us turn out to be protectors. Most of my undercover operators have been victims themselves as children, and they grow up saying, no, I'm going to be a protector. There's no way I'm ever going to allow a child to go through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
However, if 1 in every 5 men have dealt with that kind of trauma, and 1/4 of them under the age of 10 years old in their own homes, and 1/3 of them end up becoming an abuser in physical, verbal, or sexual abuse of a child, then, and the numbers of those aren't just 1 or 2. The averages are more than 10. In fact, some upwards of 70 victims in their lifetime. And so this is generational trauma. And in fact, after 10 years of undercover work, leading 70 plus undercover child rescue missions in 15 countries, I realized that the problem was bigger today than it was 10 years ago. And I asked myself, I said, Paul, it says, if your goal 10 years ago was to eradicate this evil from the face of the earth, you're not doing a very good job, because there's more today than everywhere. And I had to take a look at it and ask myself, where the hell is this coming from? Why is there such a demand that every time we pull 20 children out of hell, another 20 or 30 more were being sucked back into the deepest recesses of hell just to fill the demand? And I found myself wishing, every undercover mission, I wish that I could go back 5 or 10 years. And if I had a time machine and I could rescue those kids then, but even then, if we rescued them, more would be brought in. So I thought, okay, what would I do to really fix it? Well, I would sit down with the perpetrator or the trafficker, and I would say, what is going on in your life that makes you think that in any way it's okay to go down that road? And I came to an understanding that most of the traffickers were trafficked themselves as children.
Yep.
And most of the perpetrators were victims themselves as children. Now, don't get me wrong in saying this. You know, some people get all pissed thinking, oh, Paul's a sympathizer. No, I have literally put my life in danger hundreds of times to ensure that they never hurt innocents again.
Were you actually on these undercover?
Yeah, I led or played a key part in over 70 missions, and we can go into the pit of darkness and talk about that. So I have been there. I have seen the darkest part of humanity, but I realized that the only way to fix this problem is to figure out how to heal humanity, because it's generational trauma. It is literally hundreds of millions of perpetrators in our neighborhoods. That somebody doesn't just go down to Colombia and go try to, have sex with a child. It's likely already been going on in their own families, in their own neighborhoods, and now they're expanding beyond that. And so we need to ask ourselves, do we just take everybody who's dealt with trauma and put them away? No, because the majority of them become protectors. What we need to do is have systems that in their adolescent years and their young adult years, whatever, that we can help them talk about it. We can help them release it so that it never, ever gets to the point where they're passing on that trauma to a child.
Yo, this shit, yo. This shit is, my gosh, bro. My days. Okay. Because he's right, but the problem is so heinous. It is the fact where it's like, Biblically, it says, hey, you might as well put a millstone around your neck and cast yourself into the sea if you hurt God's children. Okay? And the pure fact that he just said that the perpetrators of these horrible, heinous, demonic crimes happens from the people who are victims of those horrible, heinous, and demonic crimes. So he says that he feels the best thing to do is try to find a way to get to these victims before they become the victimizers, speak to them, and get them correct in mind to become the hero, other than the victimizer. And it's facts. It's facts. But the crime is so heinous, it becomes unhuman. It's demonic. To hurt children is demonic. And to see that a lot of people are getting this demonic spirit and action in them to create demonic crimes. You know, it's the passing of demons. A person's innocence has been taken away, and they go through a lifetime of trauma, and then they commit that trauma to someone else because they're on the mindset of like, well, you know, selfish, fuck you, it happened to me, might as well happen to you, type shit. This is horrible, man. This is truly bad. This is truly really, really bad.